In this video, I'm going to feature the digital implementation of King Domino, which is a game I've yet to really play. I know it's got a great reputation among lighter gamers, and it's a kind of known as a pretty fun tile laying type game. But I don't know much about this game actually. I'm kind of getting acquainted with it through this app. Now, this app is brought to us by Meeple Corp, along with an association with Blue Orange and Bruno Cathala. And I want to thank them for sending me an advance copy of this so I could feature it today. So we're going to walk through the tutorial. It doesn't take very long. There is a game that will play out afterwards, essentially. So you get a kind of a brief introduction of the rules, and then you'll see kind of the rest of that tutorial game played out. We'll be playing against King Bruno, who is our AI opponent, basically just to illustrate the game and how it works. First of all, we select who goes first randomly, and conveniently it's myself. And we get 4 dominoes that we choose from. We place our meeple on those dominoes. And the top domino, basically they're all sorted in value from the lowest to the highest at the bottom. However, the choice decides the turn order. So when you choose the top domino, you'll be the first to select the dominoes that arrive in advance of the next turn. So it's usually actually a great balance between going first and so forth in the next, and choosing the next dominoes and choosing the dominoes that you need this turn. And because it's a 2-player game, we're going to each place 2 dominoes. So the King Bruno will choose the bottom domino, so we'll get to choose the last available domino when that comes up in advance of next turn. And but there is more points awarded. Now, to make things fair in a 2-player game, the king here will get to place not only the second, but then we'll place immediately the 3rd meeple after that. In a way similar to, say, the setup in Catan goes to sort of balance out the turn order. So King Bruno places the 3rd meeple, is his second, and then I place the final meeple on the last available domino, and then we go from there. Now you'll notice that the lake square on the domino that I took has a crown on it, and this is all to do with final scoring. So when you have crowns on in your final setup, then essentially you just count the dominoes that feature a certain type of terrain, multiply each space by the number of crowns, and that's how you essentially score. So we're going to start playing the dominoes now, and you can see the next round of dominoes have arrived. So I get to place the first domino because I selected the first one there, and I just drag it in the app. You can see it's going to switch to a top view, and I'm going to drop that in. And essentially, you're building. It's basically a 5x5 square thing. So you got your castle in the middle and 2 squares out either way. So you've got to kind of fit everything within that space. Now that we've placed a domino, I can choose a domino from the next available lineup. And any domino can be placed next to a castle, but dominoes can only be placed next to other dominoes if the terrain types match. And that's important because if you do have a terrain type that you can't place, maybe you've surrounded your castle with water and you've kind of left out a terrain type, then you can have dominoes that are just not placeable and you just lose them. So I'm going to go take the second domino here, and then I get to place the next one here after King Bruno goes, and I'm going to do that, and that's going to basically give me that continuous lake there, which is great. So I've placed the crown on the lake, and so when you multiply, you'll see how the 3 lake spaces multiplied by the number of castles means that play scored me 3 points for that territory. And now I have to choose which one I would like on the next one. I'm going to choose the top one there because I like going first. At the top you have your player profile, so you can see your score and kind of get an idea of the overall overhead view of your space, as well as your opponents. You can also view their area as well if you want to, and you can see their points also. But that's basically it for the rules. It's honestly not much more than that. And you basically place your dominoes every turn, and then we confirm that, and you pick your next domino. So I'm going to choose, because I want to get some sand going here. So I'm going to choose that one because I want to make sure that I think part of the strategy is that you have all the terrain types available, and especially if you can get a castle down on each of them, you're going to score all of them, but you also don't want to get like a double tile, squeeze it, where that's the only choice you have and you can't place it as a result. So that's my initial idea of strategy. I don't know if that's entirely true, but there you are. Okay, and I'm going to also choose, just to continue with the theme, I'm going to grab that castle and the forest there so I can keep expanding that way. And yeah, it looks like the map is a little bit flexible. Again, I'm not totally well versed in this game, but you can see I expanded just beyond that 5x5, and it seems to allow that. But I think there's a space in which you get kind of set up and so forth. So I'm going to go here. You can see I'm a bit limited in where I can place some of these terrain types. So I'm going to do that. And on the other end, I'm going to choose the green, the double green. Again, I just want to make sure I've got exposure to that terrain type so I don't get frozen out of that. And then I place my next tile here. I'm going to continue my theme. If you need to flip the tile around, there's a little spinny arrow on the tile. You can tap that and it will flip it around. And then we get to place on the bottom. We don't get a choice on that one, but that's why I want to have some green available so I can make sure I'm not totally trapped on this. I've only got one spot I can place, which is right next to the castle, which is fine. And what do I want next? I want probably to get some castles in the sand. Now I am risking the dark brown earth. I don't have any of that, so if I do get stuck with a double tile of that, I could be in trouble. I do have a tile coming up though that I'll hopefully place here, and that'll give me some exposure to the dark blue or the dark brown earth. And I think I've got all available terrain types now, so I think that's a good spot. And I can only choose the last of the 4 dominoes on that particular spot there. So I'm going to end the turn. And we've only got, I think, a handful of turns left here. This is probably the second last turn. So I'm going to place this one in a way where we can maybe get that sand together and keep that water pure. Although I got to be careful. You know what? I want to make sure that I don't leave myself stuck with that sand. So I'm going to go there. Got to make sure I'm not. You can see the area now. So it is a 5x5, but where the castle is in that is a bit variable. So now I've got the. Oh boy, this is a bit of a tough choice. I'm gonna take the. Don't have a forest. This is where I could get a bit in trouble here. I'm gonna choose this one here, I think. Actually, no, I'm gonna choose the bottom one there. I'm hoping that I'll be able to come up with a solution here to place my guy. I'm gonna place there because that way I can keep the sand free on the other side and keep some sand available on the last turn here. We're gonna have 2 more dominoes to place, so I'm just making sure I don't get frozen out of anything. And King Bruno goes next, and then we are on to the final turn. King Bruno places that double, and I think I'm okay if I just place that there. Got a connecting terrain type. And the second last tile or domino goes, and then I place my last, and I should be fine because I have some water next to it, so I can place it. I did play an initial game where I did get totally frozen out of the. I played one tile and I had nowhere to go, so be careful about that. because it can be a problem. There's a bit of strategy in the placement there. So now we're just multiplying the number of tiles by the number of castles in that terrain type. And so we're going to be adding up this score, and let's see how we did. So we add it up, we get 40. Okay, and then King Bruno hopefully did not do as well. We're just going to see how this adds up. One of the nice things about these apps, the math on this one isn't too bad, but the nice thing about these apps is the automation and how it tracks all your points and rules enforcement and so forth. 34, so that was a bit closer than I expected, 40 to 34, but I came out with a win against the tutorial AI. So, but anyway, I just thought I'd give you a quick overview of King Domino Digital Edition, so you could maybe check that out if you like the game or you want to learn the game. I think it's a good introduction to it. So, thank you so much for watching. This is NATO with Legendary Tactics.